Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Terra Mystica. This is the fifth and final video in my series on the Terra Mystica tournament, season 36. My Nomads game has finally finished, and so I owe you guys an episode describing how it went. And we'll also follow up with explaining how, not explaining, but just seeing how I did in the season overall. I won my first 3 games, but that's not necessarily, depending on how this game goes, wouldn't necessarily be enough to guarantee me a win. So you're still sort of in suspense a little bit, and you'll find out at the end of the video whether I won my division or my league, I guess. Yeah, the division is a bunch of leagues. I'm in a league of 7 players. The division is like 50 leagues or something. So can't win the division, can win the league. Anyway, so we played Nomads. It's been forever since I recorded the faction selection video. Maybe I should refresh why I did things. One point in favor of the Nomads is that they start with Earth and Fire cults, and those are very important this game, so that's something. Also worth noting, I think, is how many workers are available in the bonus tiles? Just 1. Right? This is the only tile that gives worker income in the bonus tiles. So I sort of thought I should pick someone who's good at building workers. Or good at having workers, I should say. And since Nomads start with 1 extra worker income via their 3rd dwelling, seems like a good choice. I did mention in, I think it was the faction selection video, that after getting a couple rounds into the game, I began to believe that the mermaids actually had the right idea, and I should have picked them. They're also good at building, at getting workers, simply because they can expand to so many tiles without having to terraform anything. And furthermore, they're especially good at doing it in rounds 2 and 3. Because like round 1, you kind of want to open with the temple to get Earth 1. You know, maybe grab a dwelling or 2, probably 2. Like you would get these 2 pretty often. And that's your 6 workers. And then in the next round, you can upgrade your shipping with the temple, the priest that you got from the round 1 temple. And then you just start pouring dwellings out at 4 points apiece, and you're in like great shape, right? So I think I should have chosen that instead of the Nomads. But, you know, I thought, hey, Nomads, you know, build dwellings. And also round 4 town scoring is something that you might well expect the Nomads to be able to get like 2 towns by that point. 3 is pretty optimistic for that. You know, you could get 3 towns in round 6 or something, but not round 4. Much of the same arguments applies to the mermaids. Anyway, so that was what I did, and I got the spade. And I mentioned also in the faction selection video that I had recently read about how Nomads, since they get so many workers, they should usually prefer to upgrade their digging. Well, I don't know about usually. Rather, I read some strong players saying that weak players overvalue the Nomad stronghold. You should just like upgrade your digging and just dig. And so that was kind of my plan this game, was to see if I could like get a temple in round 1, build a dwelling or 2, I guess 2 because I got the spade, right? Maybe just 1? I don't know. And upgrade my digging all the way to max in time for a good round 3, getting a bunch of dwellings was the plan. So let's see how well that worked. Most players started with a trading post, but the mermaids, thanks to grabbing the shipping bonus in round 1, actually started with 12 power in bowl 2 already. And in fact, a bit more than that because my trading post gave them some extra power. So they chose to start with a double dig, which I don't know about that. I think if I were in their position, I would be trying to get a temple so that I could secure Earth 1. Right, they're not player 4. And rounds 2 and 3, you would really love to build a bunch of dwellings, and you'd also love to upgrade your shipping, right? On the other hand, like, getting to start with a double dig, you can place a lot. Okay, also it is a dig scoring round, so there's that. But you can place a lot of dwellings in round 1 if you start with 2 digs and extra shipping as the mermaids, right? A4, C3, E4, H2, C1. I mean, you can place 5 dwellings, no problem. And that's a good start for your engine, right? It's a lot like as the witches, if you can take the shipping bonus and get a dig somehow. You can, dig C5, build A10, C4, C3, G3, F4. You end up getting like 8 dwellings by the end of round 1 if you can find some extra workers or something, maybe. 8? Yeah, you don't even need extra workers. You have 6 workers, that's enough to build 6 dwellings, and there actually are 6 dwellings in range for you to build. It's like insane, right? You start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But 2 of them you started on, so you've only built 5. Maybe I'm miscounting somewhere. Maybe you need a double dig to build 6? I don't remember. Yeah, that seems right, actually. Anyway, even if it's a dwelling scoring round 1, that's a great thing to do with either of these factions, is just plow out a bunch of dwellings. I might have chosen to go for Earth 1 more quickly and get the dwellings later in rounds 2 and 3. But, who knows. Anyway, I'm just grabbing... Oh, actually, I don't grab Earth 1 yet because I know that the mermaids are... I'm not... No one's threatening to make me miss out on it. So what did I stop off for instead? I took a priest. Ah, yes. This is an Earth scoring round, and if I'm the first one with a priest, I can get 4 points out of it. Three cult steps out of it, getting me to 4, and that locks in at least 1 dig later, and also some coins for the next round, and it helps me win the Earth cult, so it seemed fine. And I next grabbed the Earth 1. However, the mermaids ended up being able to get Earth 1 anyway, because the engineers chose Earth 2. I don't know. In my engineers game, there was a temple scoring bonus in round 1, and so I strove... That's the past tense of strive, right? Strove? I think so. I strove to build 2 temples in round 1, and I took Earth 1 and then Earth 2. Because it was again, I think, an Earth 4 spades, 4 Earth for 1 spade, I think, in that game. And so getting Earth 2 is quite reasonable for the engineers because they're short of workers. But I don't know. You might have tried to get Earth 1 and Earth 2, and then the mermaids wouldn't have it, and their whole expansion orgy in the coming rounds would be weaker. So I think the engineers gave the mermaids a big leg up here by not taking Earth 1. I don't think it was really worth it for them. So I grabbed Earth 1, and what else did I do? I sent my priest, of course, to make sure nobody else could, I guess. There was no rush at that point. Oh, right, it gets me to 5 Earth, because I got Earth 1 as well. What did everybody else do? These guys dug, I assume, with their priest. Mermaids built another dwelling. And the engineers passed. Passed, huh? Interesting. I guess they really wanted workers, but I don't know. I think it would have made sense to build 1 or 2 trading posts here. I don't know, maybe not. Worker income is very important to everyone, and the engineers have less of it than anybody, so I guess you can't afford to have nothing. Yeah. Especially with very few worker bonus tiles, I guess. It's pretty dangerous. Anyway, I'm still sitting on my spade, so I assume I use it here. Yeah. I build towards the engineers. I forget why I chose this tile specifically. I guess my thinking was I expected the engineers to start upgrading fairly soon. And I wanted to get in on that action, get some power from them. And E3 is... The tiles I want to build this town out of are in no danger at all. In fact, that's something that I should mention, is where am I building my towns? As the Nomads, I'd like to be able to get 3 towns. Here is a pretty okay one. You know, F1 sucks a little bit, but I'm hoping to have my digs upgraded enough that it's not that big a deal. This is a very obvious town candidate. The mermaids will be coming up here to be my neighbor, so I have plenty of space to build trading posts here. Likewise here. This space is a little cramped. It's unclear whether I'll want a sanctuary or a bridge, or to like terraform, you know, E5, but probably the mermaids are taking that, right? And F4 is pretty... F4 would be alright, but the engineers are probably taking that. So, really, I want to make sure I can get G2 before the engineers can get it, otherwise this is going to be a very difficult town. But... more pressing is the need to get more power. Right, the engineers don't have that many workers. They're not threatening to come over here too soon. And I guess I'm probably done at this point, right? 7 coins, 1 worker. I could take the... No, the spade action is gone. I could take the coin action and burn 1. I'd probably do that, right? Because if I'm planning to upgrade digging, which I happen to know I did eventually do, I must need a ton of coins to also be able to ever do any actual digging, right? Right, it's 10 to do the upgrades, and also I need to do other stuff. So, given that I have 0 coin income on rounds after this one, I better start getting some coins. But I didn't. Is that so? I guess the idea was that, like... I'm not sure. Was I afraid of burning power? Did I not realize that 7 coins were important? I wonder if I was thinking it would actually be better to take it in the second round. Because that way I can deprive the other players of it. The engineers and the mermaids are both threatening to take it, so that's kind of scary. I think the mermaids might want it, but it's also, like, they don't want to burn 3 power. And the engineers, I don't know, they could take it, but they don't need coins that badly, so we'll see. What did I do? I sent a priest to fire. Because it's a fire scoring round now. Or a fire income round, I guess I should say. Yeah, that seems fine. Ah, and that way I have to burn less to take... Yeah, I don't have to burn at all if I want to take 7 coins. And indeed, nobody did take it. So it's probably still fine for me to get. Right? I get it? Yes. Very good. And I probably just advanced digging here. I remember there was actually a lot of consideration given to timing in this round. What I was thinking about in this round was bonus tiles. I don't remember which one I really wanted, but I really wanted one of them. And... I took the priest bonus tile last turn. That's why I still have a priest left. I sent 1 to fire, but I still want to have 2 by next turn in order to upgrade digging twice. So I needed another one from a bonus tile if I wanted to cash in on Earth. That makes sense. Okay. Which bonus... So the point is, I want to have my digging upgraded twice by next turn, but I don't really care whether I do it now or next turn, right? I'm not going to really use it to do anything. So I can kind of like be flexible about when my round ends based on when other players are passing. And so I'm pretty sure that the bonus tile I wanted was the one the Darklings have. Because it's the dwelling scoring one, I remember. And it has 2 coins on it, which is nice. And it looks to me like the Darklings really have nothing much left to do, right? They're going to pass on the next action, and I predicted that the mermaids would really like this bonus tile as well. And the mermaids kind of seem like the faction to beat at this point. The Darklings are doing okay, but the mermaids have a better engine going, I think. and a more obvious route to scoring on the next round. So my thinking was to kind of take do-nothing action this turn to wait for the Darklings to pass and then immediately snatch up their bonus tile before the Mermaids can get it. I'm not sure in retrospect whether that was actually such a great idea. Because if you like count what resources I really have next turn, like, okay, I have 19 coins, but I'm spending 10 of them, right? On just upgrading my digging. And I have 9 workers, but I'm spending 4 of them, so I have like 5. So that's enough to build 5 dwellings, which is great. But I have to spend some workers to dig as well. So with only 5 workers available, how much digging am I going to get to do, right? Like, I can dig twice and build 2 dwellings, and that's kind of it. You know, so this is worth 5 points and 2 coins, which is cool. But it might be better to take the spade, in fact, because I get 3 coins. And it lets me... Well, no, spades suck. Maybe it would be better to take this. I don't know. It gives me a worker, which is as good as a spade. It gives me fewer coins, but it gives me power. I don't know. Any of these could be kind of reasonable, I think. So I believe, though, I did upgrade my digging here, right? Yeah, I advanced my dig. And the Darklings managed to find a way to take another action. What did they do? They, I thought they didn't have any priests. Oh, right. The E10 was already, yes. So I was thinking first, okay, I can advance my digging this round if I want. And that's kind of a, like, whatever. But something that was not immediately obvious to me until I thought about it a little bit is that I can also, this round, build a dwelling. And it's the same as building the dwelling next round, which is rather curious. Normally, building a dwelling this round gives you 1 more worker than building it next round. And often there's a scoring difference because of whether it's a dwelling scoring round or not. This round and next round are both dwelling scoring bonuses. And my digging right now is 1 worse than it will be next turn. So building this dwelling costs me 1 more worker than it will next turn, but it gains me 1 more worker next turn. So again, just like advancing my digging, it's completely neutral whether I build this turn or next turn. And so I can use that to control my tempo. And so I advanced digging and then built a dwelling. The idea being to force the Darklings to pass out before me, and then I'll take their bonus tile. Again, not totally sure it was the right bonus tile to take, but we'll see. Okay, so they did that. They built while I upgraded my digging. And then they passed and I passed. And I took their bonus tile. So, you know, operation successful. It's just not clear whether it was the right thing to do. What else happened after this? Oh, hang on. The Mermaids took the double dig action again? That's pretty cool. Good for them. Yeah, wow. I'm a little surprised they didn't build a dwelling as part of that action. I wonder if they're trying to get the engineer's bonus tile by playing more slowly. Like, they would love to have it, but they're not likely to get it. The other thing, I guess, is that maybe if the engineers let them leech power, they won't have to convert a worker to a coin. They could convert a... They could burn a power and convert a power to a coin, maybe? But they ended up actually doing neither. They leeched 2, and then didn't build another dwelling, which seems very strange to me. I would happily burn 1 power here. It says they have 2 coins, but that's only because of the bonus tile. They got a coin off of this. They had 1 when they passed. So I would have happily burned a power to get another dwelling down to give me another worker, right? So I'm not sure why they didn't. Maybe they have some pressing need for that power in the future, in the coming turn, but it's kind of costing them a worker to delay, so it has to be pretty important. And the engineers wrap up the round with a trading post. Now we're in round 3, which I kind of planned to be my sort of, not exactly my big power turn, but a lot of my initial strategy was around being able to build a lot of dwellings in rounds 2 and 3, and I didn't build any in round 2. So I've built up a lot of potential energy in these 16 coins and 7 workers. And also a fair amount of power as well. And I got to pass early, so I get my choice of the power actions, and I imagine I'm taking workers? Probably? Sounds right. The Darklings could burn 4, but they didn't. Yeah, I took workers. And then I got a bunch of leech from the other players, so this turn is like going pretty well. And if we look, I now have like 9 workers. I'm spending 2 of them advancing digging. I'll have 7 left, which is enough to build 3-ish dwellings. So not as big as a cash-in as I had hoped. It would be better for me, I don't know. So it's not clear whether this whole plan of advancing my digging a bunch really worked out. But maybe if I can get together, I should be able to get together at least 1 town in this round, maybe 2. Probably just 1 though, right? Yeah. I mean, I know how things turned out, but looking at the position now, you kind of have to imagine I'm only getting 1 town. I'm just like, I have to build 4 power worth of structures here, and a temple, and also build like either 4 power worth of structures here, or else 5 power worth of structures here. And to do that all in 2 turns is a pretty tall ask when I only have 4 friggin' structures on the board, right? I have a bunch of resources, but yeah. Anyway, so what did I do next? Advanced digs, of course, right? Yeah. And I built B2 before E3, even though E3 is the town that I plan to start going, because I perceived B2 as being not exactly at risk, because neither of these factions really wants a brown square, but as being a place where I might benefit from a bit more leech. You know, they might make this a trading post. I'd like more power. Same here. Likewise, well, no. They might make this a trading post as well. In which case, like, building here would offer them more power. But if you look more carefully at the situation, you'll see that that's not likely to happen. Oh no, it is. It's totally fine. The Mermaids are clearly planning 3 towns this game. Remember during the faction selection video, I said I couldn't really see what they were up to over here, and I don't remember if I mentioned during that game, but like actually expanding over here looks quite reasonable, right? This area is perfectly diggable, and the Mermaids don't mind skipping a water tile. They love green and black. So what that means is they're probably going to take fire too. So they just need like this dwelling and 1 more building to be upgraded to to a temple. So there's going to be a fair amount of leech coming in from the Mermaids either here or here. And that's why I kind of want to get my dwelling in first. So that I can get more power from that. After that, I believe I started digging this way. Yeah. And the Mermaids are working on this town as well now. They're going to need a bridge to finish it. Or to take F1, which they don't love, but they don't absolutely hate. Right, it's 2 steps away for them. And they have an advanced digging, so that's a big deal. And now everyone but me has passed. I still have 14 coins and 3 workers, so I imagine we're building another dwelling. Yeah. And sadly, no more workers to play with, so that was it. What did I take? I took the dig bonus. Ooh. What else was available to me? These 2? Yeah, I don't really want those. It kind of sucks to just get a dig bonus. I wonder if a priest would have been better. I don't know exactly what I would do with a priest. I already upgraded my digging a lot, and I don't care that much about advancing on any cult tracks right now. Maybe I could have sent 2 priests to Earth and tried to cash in on 8 of that. But I wanted the digs now, right? To finish the towns. That was the idea, I think. Yeah, so, like, I still have a lot of resources. Where did all these coins come from? By the way? I guess just, like, mostly they're left over from last turn. Because I ended up spending a lot more workers than coins. I didn't take a 7 coin action, did I? Oh, I did. That explains. I was like, I didn't think I had that many coins. Yeah. So after the mermaids passed, and I built F2, F3. Oh no, they built F2 after I built E3, and that was just enough power income, I think, for me. Show me this history? Yeah, that should be the previous tab, I guess, but yeah, okay, it wasn't just enough. I could do it. I could have done it earlier, but made it a little more comfortable to take the 7 coins. Yeah, so I still have no coin income, which feels bad as the Nomads because they're so good at trading posts. But I really wanted to emphasize workers with the dwelling scoring and with my advanced digging. So that's where I got all these coins from. I bought them at the end of round 3. Because this is going to have to be the round when I finish at least one town. This one, right? And that's going to have to be a trading post and a temple and a dwelling. And then I'm going to need to like generate some coin income for the coming turns. Finishing a town now would be a second town would be good. We'll see whether I could actually have enough stuff to do it, but like probably not, right? It's 4 workers just to get a temple here, and 3 more to build a dwelling here, and like I only have 8, so it's really hard to see how I could come up with a second town. Okay, I guess it's only 6 because I can use a spade instead of a worker. But I would just need a gigantic pile of stuff. Yeah, I'm not getting a second town this round. Yeah, so I built a dwelling first, just in case the mermaids got any clever ideas, I guess. And now everyone starts completing towns. It's lovely. The mermaids... this doesn't complete the town for them because they don't have Fire 2 yet. Just like this doesn't complete the town for me. But the Darklings have just finished the town, and the Engineers have just finished the town. Darklings took Cult Steps, and Engineers took Workers. Quite reasonable. I remember, actually, this round, I spent a lot of time thinking, or in the planning menu to kind of plan out my next few turns. I think in the previous round, I was trying to work out whether this round I would be able to get the town that I wanted or not. And I forget whether the one that I wanted was workers or coins. Probably coins, I think. And I kind of thought that one of these players would take coins, and then the mermaids would take coins, and I wouldn't get it. But that didn't actually happen. Neither of them took coins. So I got my town in. The mermaids got their bridge for town number 2. And the town that I took was coins. Yes, that was the one I wanted. Remember, I still don't have any coin income. It's disgusting. It's unbelievable that I've done all this without ever passing with a trading post on the board. It feels a little weird to me. But okay, so now the question is, what do we do with the rest of the round? I have 2 workers and 10 coins. And I have a bunch of worker income. And I have 2 priests, which is quite a lot, obviously. So I'm pretty sure that this round I work on some trading posts. The idea being, like, look, I can't get a town this round. But I want to... I will have enough workers to do whatever I want pretty soon. I just need some more coin income, so let's get started on trading posts. I think I start up here, right? This town might not actually happen. If the engineers get cheeky and take G2 from me, it'll be very difficult. They seem like they have other stuff on their mind, like finishing this other town, of course, and then connecting up their shipping, maybe getting a stronghold in round 5 to like score for some bridges, and of course take the stronghold scoring bonus. But it might not be out of the realm of possibility for them to take G2. It could work out for them for some reason. But they don't even have Earth 1, right? So they probably won't. But anyway, that's one reason to start up here. The other is that it's much easier to get the 6th point in this town, right? Just 2 trading posts, dwelling. Down here, it's complicated. You know, what exactly are you going to do? You can get a sanctuary in here, or you can get a bridge to G1. Or I6. I think those are equally far away. Yeah. Which one of those is actually better? I6 is not really in danger of being taken by anybody. And it is next to I7, where you could build another dwelling, and then maybe need to build fewer trading posts in this area. But if you build to I6, the Darklings are just going to say thank you and take I7, right? So it's not like being next to I7 is really an advantage. It just kind of looks like one. They need some neighbors to get this town upgraded at all. I don't know. Maybe they'd actually invite me in so they could get a sanctuary going here, but that's just so expensive. So I don't know. So what did I actually do next? I sent a priest to fire in anticipation of the upcoming fire scoring round, I guess. Yeah, it would be so nice to get up to 8 Earth, but there's no priest spots left. And even if there were, I don't have enough priests, so... I did that to cash in on some power, is the other reason to go up here. Then I can take the 2 worker action, right? Yeah. That was the idea. And so I remember this was actually, I think, one of the big mistakes I made this game was... No. Later, I took Action 3 in round 5 as well, right? Once you've got your digging upgraded, Action 3 is like pretty cool, right? It's a double dig for 4, or in my case, an extra trading post. Yeah, this time I think it was totally fine to take it because I need a bunch of coin income, and I have enough coins to build trading posts, but not enough workers, so I wanted more workers. And so I built a trading post, and I built a trading post. The mermaids are still going. At some point in the middle of this turn, I just had to like stop in the chat and say, mermaids, your turn 4 looks great. Like, your round 4 looks great, by the way. They got so much done this turn. They got the town bonus twice, and they just did a bunch of other good stuff, right? Like if we can revisit what the board looked like at the beginning of round 4. Like, this does not look that close to being a town, right? And the mermaids only have 7 coins. Okay, they have 13 workers. But they have to do a lot. They have to get a trading post here, then a temple here. And they have to also get, like, a bridge and 3 more power worth, or I guess like a dwelling, basically, and 2 more trading posts. And that's, like, a lot to do on just 7 coins. So I was pretty impressed that they put it all together. Once I realized it was going to work, I had to say something about it. And they even went a step... Oh, no. They just put the temple here instead of here. Sure, whatever. I'm not really sure why, though. Doesn't that slow you down? No, I guess not. Once this is almost a town, whether you put the temple here or here makes no difference. Either one finishes this town. They put it here because they wanted to make it more awkward for me to leech power. Yes. Just like I built my second temple here instead of here to make it more awkward for them to leech power from me. Here would have been equivalent. Actually, at the time that I built this, they only had 4 power. This was still a dwelling. So this was a. Oh yeah, these are both of these are 5. But at the time that I built the stuff, it was 4 power worth of structures. So whatever. And for the same reason, they put their temple here just to annoy me. This would have made me a little bit happier. I ended up leeching 4 from them, and that's very expensive. But it was. I would have rather leached 3 probably. But I did not want to pass up on all that power. And I got my second trading post down. So now I have at least some coin income. And I will have for the next... get out of here. These trading posts will help me for round 5, but also for round 6, right? The idea is going to be in round 5 to build 2 more trading posts to finally take advantage of the Nomads' special ability of having their 3rd and 4th trading posts generate extra coins. And... you know, you can kind of plot out like, and I was doing this at the time. I don't remember the numbers exactly now, but like, if I want to get my 3rd town, how much do I have to spend to do that? Right? This is 4 workers. This is 6. This is 9. And then I also have to upgrade stuff over here. So 2 more trading posts. That's like 13 workers, right? Not a big deal. I'll have more than enough. I'm getting like, you know, 5 workers and then at least 5 more workers. Well, about 5 more. But I'm also getting like 4 or 5 more from the fire cult. Like I should have enough for that. But I have to have the power for this bridge and I have to have enough coins. Right, we're spending 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, 14, and then we also need to advance our shipping at least once to connect up. That's like 18 coins I have to have. And if you look at my pockets right now, you'll find 4, right? And 4 coin income. So I have 8. So I have to generate at least 10 coin income next turn. And I only have 4, so I kind of need to produce 6 more somewhere. It probably can't come from power because I need that bridge, and I'll want to spend this for like workers, maybe. I don't know. It would be nice to get like the 7 coin action, but since I need the bridge action, you have to be kind of careful. The other thing is actually that you don't necessarily need a bridge here. If you really had to, you could build a sanctuary and a trading post and a dwelling over here, and that would be a sufficient town. And I put some time into calculating, can I do that? Because like a problem with that is then you need 2 shipping to connect everything up. And I eventually worked out that just barely I can scrape all that together by the end of round 6, but my score is going to be abysmal. So I would much rather get a bridge and a dwelling here and get just kind of an okay score, was the idea, was my plan. But the point is that I need trading posts. Because with 4 trading posts, the Nomads get 11 coin income. And you remember me saying that I have 8, I need 18. Like, doesn't 11 more sound pretty nice? I think so. Anyway, so that's kind of the plan that we have going forward. We can maybe convert a worker or 2. What happened here? Oh, the mermaids are still going. They took another town. Yeah, they took the second coin town, and then they also took cult steps to get quite far ahead on everything. Except fire, of course. And then they just... more stuff. Built a trading post. They're unbelievable. Do they have water 1? No. But they like, of course, coin income. And for other factions, the 3rd and 4th trading posts generate extra power, which is
much less useful than the extra coins the Nomads get most of the time, because
well, actually, we can open up the player boards and look, right? So this is what a normal factions trading post income board looks like, right? Every trading post is worth 2 coins, and the first 2 are worth 1 power. The other 2 are worth 2 power. So, but remember, like, a power is worth about half of a coin, because you have to gain 2 in order to spend 1. So on average, this is kind of like 3 coins and no power. Whereas the Nomads player board is 3 coins and 1 power. And then the last one is 4 coins and 1 power. So that's why I wanted to emphasize my trading posts. It's totally correct for the Mermaids to do so as well. They're just not getting as much of a benefit as they would be if they were me. On the other hand, I'm not getting that benefit at all yet, right? So, you know, who's the real winner there? No, they get another trading post. They're just nuts. They can do everything. That's why I just complimented them on their unbelievable round 4. They got to do so much. Unbelievable. And, by the way, the bonus tile that I took was shipping. Mostly I took it, I think, for the power. What other option did I have? I could have taken 1 worker and 3 power. Oh, I remember. I took the shipping. My idea was, I think, to build on G1 early so I don't have to commit the bridge to it. And I also don't have to commit to upgrading shipping yet. Right. For some reason, I ended up not doing this, and I didn't make use of the shipping at all. And so, for that reason, taking the 1 worker would have obviously been better. Oh, there might have been coins on it, actually. Maybe I took it for the coins. Yes. There were 3 coins on that bonus tile. That was why I took it. The shipping is, like, kind of nice, but I wanted 3 coins more than I wanted 1 worker, basically. That seems fine. And I might be able to make use of it to dig G1 and build there a little earlier. Okay. Are we finally into round 5? Yeah. And so once again, my economy looks healthy, which is nice. But the plan for this round... Oh, right. This is an Earth income round. So I got to dig G2 for free. I prioritized G2 for the same reason I talked about before. I was a little bit worried that the engineers might step in and grab it from me. Yeah. And I assume my first action was to build there? No. What did I do? Oh, I took a power action. That makes sense. Yes. Okay, this was the mistake. I know that in the next round or 2, I want to build a bridge quite badly. We worked out that if I really had to, I could put a sanctuary here. But I would much prefer a bridge to here and a dwelling. It's much, much cheaper than a sanctuary. And it also saves me having to upgrade shipping again. And I worked out this turn sort of carefully. And was like, okay, I can afford to take the workers now. And then at the beginning of next turn, I'll have enough power that I can grab the bridge action right away. But what I didn't... Well, the other thing to look at is who else on the board might want a bridge, right? The Mermaids already have the only bridge they're going to want. The Darklings obviously don't want any bridges. And the Engineers, they kind of do want bridges, right? Not so much to connect up their shipping, because they can just advance shipping once, and that's much cheaper for them. In fact, they've already done so. They can just build D6 and be done with it. Yeah, that's why D6 is great. They got to dig it, right? Normally it's red, I think. But it's a stronghold scoring round right now, and the engineers kind of look like they don't have much to do, right? They finished their 2 towns. They're not going to get a third. They don't have Earth 1. They're all full up on trading posts. Like, what else are they even going to do? They could take some favor tiles, maybe. You know, they'd love to have Air 1. But I think that the thing they really want this turn is a stronghold, and then to get down some more bridges. And so, like, this turn, they can build a stronghold, and then they can build a bridge with their faction action. But if they do, they won't have a dwelling here, so they have to come up with another worker somehow. And it's not very easy for them to do that. Basically, they have to turn a priest into a worker if they want to build a dwelling here this round. And they're not really going to get enough leech. They'll get a little if they build here right away, and then the mermaids build here, but not much. So all this to say, I don't know, like, the engineers are clearly building a stronghold this round. And they're going to want 2 bridges, and they want them soon. And they can use their faction power to build bridges, but they'd kind of rather use the power action if they can, right? Because 3 power is, like, it's cheaper than 2 workers usually, right? You could turn 3 power into 1 worker. You can't usually turn it into 2. You can turn 4 workers into 1 power, into 4 power into 2 workers, but that's much worse than just spending 3 power to get the bridge directly. And so the engineers are really threatening to take away the bridge that I want next round. And I somehow convinced myself that it would be okay to take the worker power action this round, rather than ensuring I get the bridge by taking that. The mermaids could dig this just to annoy me, but they have other priorities, so they're not really going to. So I think it's very greedy for me to take action 3 here, long story short. All I'm really doing with those extra workers is I'm digging, like, A6 and putting a dwelling there, basically. And doing that 1 round early is just like giving me 1 extra worker income. Like, are you kidding me? You're risking not getting this town to get 1 worker. That's a huge gamble for very low upside. So that was, I think, my biggest blunder this game. Well, my most concentrated blunder, right? You could argue that taking Nomads instead of Mermaids was a blunder in the faction selection. And I'm not really sure how well my plan of advancing digging to get, like, dwellings and towns worked out. It kind of halfway worked out. It didn't go quite as fast as I'd hoped it would. But I did get, some benefit out of it. But this, I think, was a clear, like, extremely greedy play when, I don't need to win first in this game. I need to ensure, like, if I come second, I almost certainly win the tournament. Right, the worst case would be that I would tie with Yumel if he won all of his other games. None of the other players really threatened to beat me at all. And Yumel, as we saw in the last video, looked... I say he, I don't know Yumel's gender, pardon me. Yumel looked like winning their other games. So I was a little bit worried about actually the mermaids in this game coming first. And then they would tie me on tournament points, and I don't really know what the tiebreakers are. Oh, and they would only tie me if I managed to come second, right? If I come third, I would lose in that scenario. So what I should be focusing on this game is trying to ensure that I beat the Engineers and the Darklings, who are having, both of them, fairly okay games. The Darklings look in good shape, and the Engineers look in okay shape. And the Mermaids, although they only have 53 points, I argue they're running away with it. Just because they're doing so well on like cult tracks, they've got a humongous income, they've got plans for another town. So I really should not have gambled my entire tournament career on this one worker. is all I wanted to say about that. What did I do next? I sent a priest to fire. It was the last slot, and I was a little worried that the Mermaids would actually send one of their priests to fire, taking away this slot from me and making it quite difficult for me to actually get 10 fire. Right? If we're both at 8 and there's only one slot left, they might very well sneak by me somehow or other. And so I just wanted to nip that in the bud and also get the extra worker. Then I can build G2. Mermaids finished their third town already. Here's that worker I gambled my entire universe on, and I build the 2 trading posts. And then passed. So what did I pass with, in fact? So obviously I build the trading post here. Oh yes, I took the dwelling scoring tile. Very happy to get that one, because I plan to have a lot of dwellings, right? It feels a little bad, by the way, to not have finished these towns. Right, because the towns give you like some income, which kind of compounds, right? Like if you get stuff earlier, you can reinvest it and get even more stuff out of it. And I could very well have taken A7 instead of G2. Right, they each require 1 dig. This used to be red, remember? And I would have finished this town sooner. Which town would I take? Not sure, to be honest. None of this stuff here is really like something that I need desperately to reinvest. It's not like I can get workers or coins out of it. These will all be roughly as good next round as they are now. With the sort of exception, I guess, of the power, which would let me take the bridge action this turn instead of next turn. So you could argue, maybe finish this town, take power, build the bridge, and get the workers, and then you're like kind of okay, right? I didn't do that because I was worried about the engineers taking this space. I think maybe I was being too paranoid there. And also I didn't really want the power town. So, you know, come what may, I ended up doing that. Oh well. And it's the beginning of round 6, and engineers passed first. So here's their chance. They did build their stronghold, and they put a dwelling here. But they didn't manage to come up with enough extra workers to build any bridges. So they got 3 points for this bridge, and they'd like to build 2 more this turn to get 6 more points. But they shock me. I guess they were not really evaluating my position very carefully. By the way, the Darklings dropped out. This guy, like, just, you know, had dropped out of several games this tournament. You know, real life must have interposed? I don't know. Gotten in the way. So I think that the engineers should see that I want this to be another town, and that the only way for me to do that without making a friggin' sanctuary is to build a bridge here. Maybe they said, oh, you know what? It's a sanctuary scoring round. Alan will be happy to build a sanctuary. And, I mean, it's pretty expensive. So I think that they made the same mistake I did, kind of. I underestimated their desire for a bridge, and they underestimated my desire for a bridge, and those 2 mistakes canceled out, and my gamble to get 1 extra worker actually paid off. Even taking this bridge, I still felt a little scared that the mermaids would terraform it just to annoy me. I'm overly worried about that stuff for sure. But they don't have any digging, you know, and they're 13 workers and 25 coins. Unbelievable, right? They probably have better stuff to do. Not even sure what. Jeez. Build a temple, I guess. Ah, no, they're going to build sanctuaries and strongholds, of course. It's a sanctuary stronghold scoring round. So they can build... Oh, right, and they managed to get the... I really wanted to take this away from them. They got the shipping scoring tile for the last round. They're already at 2 shipping. And their stronghold gives them another shipping, which is a thing they kind of want anyway. Normally, it's a pretty bad deal to upgrade your stronghold as the mermaids, because like upgrading your shipping with a priest is much cheaper than upgrading it with like a bunch of coins and workers. But in this case, when you're getting points for those coins and workers anyway, the stronghold's a pretty good bet. And they'll take a sanctuary to get a favor tile. Couldn't really say which one. Maybe Air 1? Probably, right? Because that's worth at least 3 points. But they might take something like I don't know, Water 2 to get them ahead of the Darklings and also get a step on another cult track. Anyway, the point is they don't really want to spend their workers just making things slightly awkward for me. So now my ship has come in, right? Like, I've got everything I need. It's all worked out. I can build a town here, and try to do other stuff that will generate income or points somehow. Like, God, this game just finished today, and I still don't remember what I did with all these workers. Are you kidding me? I'm only spending like 5 of them on my town. Where do the other 5 go? Oh, just build more dwellings, of course. It's a dwelling scoring... No. You have the dwelling scoring tile, both the favor and the bonus tile for dwelling scoring. So dwellings are great. And also, it expands your network. Right? Right now, the mermaids have a network size of 12. And once I finish my towns, mine will be size 12 also. So it's a pretty close race. And it's not clear how much I or the mermaids will invest in trying to beat each other. By the way, let's look at how things are looking like in terms of projected scores. If everybody passed right now, the mermaids would be miles ahead. Obviously, not everybody's passing right now, but just like something to note, I guess. I think I'm doing quite well compared to the engineers. So it's looking like having gotten this bridge down is giving me the second place I was hoping for. I'll be getting 2 towns this turn, and also I'll have a much better network score soon. So I should manage to pass them. I'm also doing better than them on the cult tracks. It's all very lovely. So what did I do first? Did I advance shipping? Yeah, I did. Why? Oh, I remember now. Yes. My problem was, which town tiles do I want? These are the town tiles remaining. We can get a priest, 8 power, or we can get cults, or we can like gain shipping, which, like, I don't know, it blows. You would almost never like to gain this tile. Maybe the fakirs might want it, I guess. But if you have money, it's much more efficient to just gain the priest and 5 extra points compared to upgrading your shipping directly. And then you spend 4 coins and you've upgraded your shipping that way, right? So this, if you want this tile, and this one was available, you're kind of like paying 5 victory points for 4 coins. It's a pretty bad deal, right? Especially this late in the game. So these are the 3 towns I might plausibly want. And it's not really that exciting. Like, what would I do with 8 power, right? All the good power actions are gone. I would just turn it into coins, basically. So these are the, like, I can get this town and I can get this town. And my thinking was, since I'm getting at least one of these towns, I should take that first, preserving the option of taking either this town or this town, depending on how much the cult steps will help me versus the victory points and the priest. But I can't do that yet, because I'm full on priests. So I chose to advance shipping before building here to make room for the priest. It still made me nervous because I was still worried about the mermaids taking this, even though there's no reason they would. Oh, and by the way, the mermaids took water 1? Really? Interesting. They're planning to build several more trading posts this turn to cash in, I guess. That's interesting. I guess after building a stronghold, they still have enough to build 2 more trading posts. So that's like 6 points. That's a pretty good deal. Sure, why not? Okay. Anyway, and so I finally get this town, and I take a priest. I'm all connected up, and the scoring is looking much better for me now. 109. The mermaids are still up 30, but, you know, what can you do? And the engineers... you know, they're gonna have to like connect. They want to connect this up, of course, and it's gonna suck for them because they're gonna be spending 2 workers, which are the 2 workers they gained by spending 4 power when they could have just spent 3 power to get the bridge directly, and also ruined my life in the process. So I think that blunder for them might have actually cost them 2nd place. I'm not sure. Just because it would hamstring me so badly. And now I don't take another town. Instead, I send a priest to water to pass the engineers. I'm not really sure how great an investment that is, right? Water's only worth 2 points, right? I'm not very likely to pass the mermaids or the darklings. I'm not really sure why I did this. I guess I just don't really have anything else to do with the priests. Like, I could fight on Earth, but the mermaids are about to be gaining a bunch of favor tiles, maybe, anyway. And they have a priest left, and they can fight back, so... it doesn't seem like I should be advancing on Earth right now. I guess one advantage of this is it makes the engineers choose whether to pass me on Earth or pass me on water. Right, they have a ton of priests, but they can't really do everything with them. And this way, I guess I also stall on deciding which town to get for a little bit longer. Oh, I remember. I was trying to tempt the engineers into trying to pass me, actually. And then I was going to grab the +1 on each cult track and try to lock in both Earth and Water. That was kind of the idea, I think. And then what did I do? Nothing? I don't know why there's a spot here where I haven't done anything, but okay. I sent another priest. Yeah, after the engineers did not follow up, I sent another priest to water because why not? Now I'm like way ahead of them. They're never going to pass me. I've secured those 2 points. Whoop-de-doo, right? I don't know about that. There is some advantage to this, which is it gets me close to this power line, right? Yes, I remember. So not only do I pass the engineers, but when I take the +1 cult step action, I'll get another 2 power, which combined with this is like 3 power, and that actually ends up being rather useful to me. So now I finally build the town? No. Yes, I'm trying to continue delaying this until the mermaids have passed, I think, or the engineers have committed on the cult track. Because if the other players do something with their turns that makes the extra cult steps not advantageous to me, I might prefer to take the priest and it's one more victory point, right? So I'm stalling as much as I can. And how did that go? Well, it didn't really work. I guess I got to the point, at this point the mermaids are out of priests. They spent them all on advancing shipping, which seems like a great idea to me. And now I can at least, like, maybe pass the mermaids in Earth if I get enough cult steps. Yeah. So I was actually moving slowly here. I dug this without building to continue delaying on building that town. I realized after I did this that it was a mistake. I should have moved quickly because there's a thing that I would like to do that the engineers can prevent me from doing if they move quickly, which is if I take the cult town, I move up here, gaining 2 power, and I move up here. I then spend my last priest advancing on Earth to tie the mermaids, gaining 2 more power, and that's just enough that I can take the priest power action and pass the mermaids on Earth. However, if the engineers spend their priest on Earth, they will have 6 power in Bowl 2, and they can take the priest action and pass me on Earth instead. So that seems like a pretty good thing for them to do, to be honest. And I should be trying to move quickly to make it harder for them to find that line. But they ended up not doing that. Instead, they built a trading post to get 3 points. And that's perfectly reasonable. If they have the trading post scoring tile, why not? But they're still threatening to do it because I was slow. Right? It's going to take me 2 more actions to get this priest. If I had terraformed and built on the same turn, now they're building the trading post would be enough for me to secure the priest. But they didn't do that. They converted their priest to a worker, I think, to build another trading post. Maybe it's the right play. I'm not sure. Oh, right. That was they built the trading post. They only built 1 trading post. It cost them a priest to do so. And then they spent their other priest advancing shipping, which gave them 3 points. I don't know about that. I mean, they netted 2 points. But if they'd gone here and then here, maybe they could have netted more. I'm not sure. No, I guess not. I would still get to pass them. So they were probably right. But now that everyone's passed, I invest my priest here, getting just enough power to take the priest action and reinvest it here. And now, like, I have 2 coins and 3 workers, but nothing to do with them. So I pass out. And that's the game. So here's the final position. The mermaids didn't quite run away with it. The last couple rounds went better for me than I deserved, and I narrowed the gap pretty well. I would have liked to take away the mermaids' shipping scoring tile, mostly. If you look at where their points came from, it's unbelievable, right? They got 14 points just for advancing their shipping all the way to 5, which, whatever, mermaids. But they got 18 points from passing with their shipping scoring bonus tile. 15 of them in the last round. And presumably 3 more came from having it early sometime when they had not advanced their shipping at all. I passed them on network, which I think they could have prevented, but they didn't. Right, I think I made it to 14 and they have 13. Yeah. Right, we each have 2 4-tile towns. I have 2 outside dwellings and they have 1 outside dwelling. The engineers are not really competitive at all. They only have 11. And they did great on using the scoring tiles, right? They got 10 from dwellings, 10 from sanctuary, 10 from towns, 4 from digging. And if you look at me, I did a terrible job of using the scoring tiles. I only got like 13, where they got, I think, 34. Yeah. Now, that said, I did a much better job of getting cult income. So that's nice. And I did pretty well in the cults as well, right? I got, well, no, I didn't do all that great. It was fine. I got 19 points from cults, and I believe the mermaids actually got more, which seems a little weird to me, but it shouldn't, right? Earth and fire, I don't know. How did the mermaids do? They got 8, 12, 16. Okay, so I did beat them on the cults, but not by much. Yeah. So, that's my second place. And so the question is, did Umel manage to come first in the other games and tie things up? Well, let's go look at my tournament profile. That's not quite what I wanted to do, actually, now that I think about it. What I wanted to do was look at the tournament page for this league. And you'll see that Umel, in addition to coming second in the other game against me, managed to come third in a game that I thought for a while that Umel was winning. I watched this game with great interest because I think I even showed you guys how it was looking at the end of the last episode. But I watched it with great interest because if Umel comes third or worse here, it doesn't even matter what happens in my Nomad game. I'm just like locked in with a win. And Umel is the Darklings in this game, yes. And I have to say, going into the last round, I didn't realize that the Swarmlings were doing so well. They had so few points, but they're just like killing it on the cult tracks. And Tobino did, I think, quite well in all the games against me. I think second place in both of them. So a pretty solid player, I think, as far as, you know, Division 7 goes. Anyway, we're all not so great. And I just, Stoichiometry had this great lead going into round 6, a ton of resources, and I was just watching what seemed to me like Stoichiometry just completely frittering away the advantage. Building a bunch of, like, spending resources on stuff that wasn't going to give any advantage. In particular, the witches only got 12 for network, which was easily enough to beat the Nomads, who couldn't quite connect up, so their network is like 7 or something. 6, I don't know. But the witches spent a lot in round 5 on like these 3 dwellings. And they don't even have the dwelling scoring tile. And it's not a dwelling. Oh, it is a dwelling scoring, right? I keep forgetting. So it was like fine. But like, you know, that's only worth, building a dwelling is worth 2 points, but just saving the resources is worth 1. So if you had to invest anything in terraforming, you're like kind of coming out not looking so hot. And I believe the witches were having to spend like 3 workers to dig even. Like if we look at dig. Yeah, the witches dug here. No, that was the Nomads. Okay, so they only dug once to build one of these things. But that's like, it's just break even. And I think they were trying to race the Darklings for network, but that was really a lost cause. The Darklings were always going to have a better network because they have this beautiful, like, this is all connected up with just 2 shipping. And I think it was pretty clear that this was going to happen. I forget. I think these were already in place, and you were just waiting for the Darklings to actually upgrade their shipping. And then when they did it, it was like, oh, I guess I lost on network. Oh, and maybe some of these like maybe this dwelling hadn't been built yet or something. No, I think it had. Anyway, so I was starting to worry that stoichiometry would actually end up coming third, and then Yuma would be second, and I'd have all this stuff to worry about. But that didn't end up happening. So all that said, we did actually we won the league. Congratulations to us. So next season starts at the beginning of June. I'll be playing in Division 6. Which, I mean, I don't know. Are there good players? Is Division 6 good players and Division 7 bad players? I'm not sure, right? Like, I think everyone in this tournament is like at least a reasonable player compared to like the average population. Most people are terrible at Terra Mystica. They don't even know the rules. Haha. But I mean, like, anytime you're playing anything competitive, like, most of the people who join are a lot better than the average player, just because, like, the average player doesn't try to compete in anything. So I think everyone played pretty well this league, and League 6 is half the size of League 7, so, you know, the players should be... We just showed that we're better than half, roughly, of all competitive Terra Mystica players, which was a big surprise to me. I thought I would get crushed my first season. But you know, I kind of watched some stuff on YouTube. The main Terra Mystica content I can find, by the way, is a channel called Only Terra Mystica, which you're probably getting in your recommendations if you're watching these videos. But if you're not, you know, go watch it. He's a better player than I am, and also pretty good at being at explaining what's going on. But you know, did that, practiced some against the AI, planned my turns out carefully, and managed to win the league, which was very nice. So, are we really better than half of competitive Terra Mystica players? Probably not. You know, we got a bit lucky in the league, you know, with someone dropping out and a lot more players, or someone not showing up and a bunch of other players dropping out when they might otherwise have won. But, you know, take the wins where you can get them, right? So I think I will share my Terra Mystica videos next season. Why not, right? It's only an hour and a bit out of my life every time I want to do one of these, which is a bit of a nuisance, but they're fun. So anyway, I've rambled enough. If you guys really stuck around to the end, congratulations, well done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.